the Italian Football Podcast.
Let's just, before we finish off with Baggio, Premface and Serie A of the week, it is international break now. It is the UEFA Nations League, the final 2 match days. Italy going away to Belgium and then playing against France on the final game of the Nations League group stage. Italy, the current standings are Italy on 10 points, France on 9, and Belgium on 4. So Italy need a point from their final 2 games against Belgium and France to qualify for the quarterfinals. So they play Belgium this Thursday, 14th of November at 20:45 CET in Brussels at the King Baudouin Stadium. Match day 5. So Italy only need a draw from this game in order to qualify from the group and eliminate Belgium from the chances of qualifying for the quarterfinals. So let's preview this game and Italy's squad first. There might be the odd injury, the odd player pulling out, as is usually the case after these squads get named. Ricci is somebody that got injured during the Turin derby, and we have to watch him for certain. But Italy's squad: Donnarumma, Vicario, Meret are the goalkeepers. Defenders are Bastoni, Buongiorno, Cambiaso, Comuzzo, Di Lorenzo, Di Marco, Gatti, Ocoli, Savona, and Udogi. Midfielders are Barella, Fratesi, Pizzilli, Ricci, Rovella, Tonali, and then the forwards are Moise Kean, Maldini, Raspadori, and Retegui. So in terms of the new players in, or the noteworthy players in, 3 new call-ups. First call-ups for Nicola Savona of Juventus, Pietro Comuzzo, teenager at centre-back at Fiorentina, and Nicola Rovella from Lazio. What do you make of those first-time call-ups, Nima?
I'm really happy for Rovella. I think that's well deserved. I think all 3 are well deserved. I think Savona's been so good that this is what he should be rewarded with. Comuzzo as well, been outstanding for Fiorentina, and Rovella's been brilliant for Lazio. So no, I'm happy that he does this. Spalletti.
I think what he's doing is, I think Spalletti
And
has.
also Nicolo Pisilli, we should say that. I mean, he's what, 20 years old. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he was in the last squad, but I mean, I think that what Spalletti's doing is quite clear to me. He has a core which he's certain of, and if presuming we qualify for the World Cup, they're already on the plane for the United States and North America. But then he has these kind of probably more so backup positions, or just a few other roles where he's not sure. And what he's doing is he's using these Nations League games to call up as many of these players which he wants to look at and get a look at. And that's what's happened. So I think that we're seeing that with certain positions. We're seeing that with, for example, the backup to Cambiaso on the right wing back position. So we've seen a lot of different players being called up there. Bellanova was in the last one. Now we're seeing Savona getting a call up there. He wants to see backup players at defensive centre midfield. Ricci's probably kind of like the number one starter there at the moment. So the last times he's tested players like Fagioli, for example, who I think struggled in the last international window. This time he's having a look at Rovella, who has been fantastic. And then at centre back, he's still looking at right centre back. So he's tested a few different players there, and now he's testing out Comuzzo there as well. So I kind of see the theory behind it, and I think they deserve it. Comuzzo has been really outstanding for Fiorentina in this run that they're going on. So yeah, I think that's the theory behind it. And then I think we would add the same to Pizzilli and Maldini, who this is their second international window. They made their debuts in the last one, and he obviously wants to take another look at them in this international window as well. And Gatti returns as well after injury.
Yeah, he does. No, I think it's a decent. I like the squad, and I'm glad that he's rewarding great form with spots in the team, especially to young players. I love that Rovella's there. I think it's fully deserved. I want to see Barella, Tonali, Ricci play together. And that's like in my dream midfield, when I play Football Manager, that's my midfield for Inter and Italy. So I want to see those three together. I don't think we will. And in the absence of that, I'd love to see Rovella, because if Ricci's going to pull out, because I think Rovella's deserved. I think he's been so good for Lazio. And of course, up front, it has to be Retegui and Keane. Like, Moise Keane has been outstanding, and Retegui is the top goal scorer, 11 goals in 12 matches.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, we'll come on to the probable 11 in a second, but the players that are out, the injured players are Calafiori, who would have definitely been in, Gabbia, who was that right centre-back I was talking about, that got called up last time, and Chiesa, who is getting close to writing off now. And then from the last squad, players that have been excluded that were in the last squad are Di Gregorio, which I'm a little bit surprised of. Not that, again, as I said earlier in the show, not that it matters that much. Certainly would have him ahead of Meret. Bellanova, who has...
That's strange.
He's not doing enough for me, but he was very, very good, and he was decisive for Atalanta.
No, he needs to grow. He needs to start delivering, putting in the string of good performances and having consistency.
Yeah, for Atalanta first, though.
Games, yeah, but that's what I mean. These impact games, these impact things, no, not good enough.
He wasn't good for Italy either. I think in possession of the ball, he needs to improve a lot. He's good kind of making breaks, making those bursts. He's devastating in space. But, when you're in possession, he's a little bit too limited, and his final ball is still really not good enough. But having said that, though, he was very, very good for Atalanta at the weekend, so we need more performances of that, like that. Fagioli's gone off the boil, and he was poor for Italy in the last international break. He has like these amazing games where he looks like a world beater, like against Leipzig, and then games where he's quite poor. So he's been dropped. Pellegrini's suspended for the first game, and he hasn't been called up for the second. But I'm in favour of that, regardless of the suspension. I'm happy to see him dropped. I want to see some others given a chance. Zaniolo and Luca as well. Zaniolo got injured for Atalanta, by the way, and he's got another, I think it's a muscle injury. So, like Chiesa, Zaniolo and Chiesa are having a nightmare, really, with injuries.
Yeah, Fagioli, Pellegrini, and Zaniolo have no business in this Italy squad. Di Gregorio I would have called up. I think Luca, I would have rather had him than Maldini. And Bellanova needs to show consistency.
Yeah. The last one, though, the one player that isn't there that I want to discuss, still no Manuel Locatelli. And it'll be interesting if Ricci pulls out of the squad with injury. I don't know how serious the injury is. If he pulls out with him then out of the squad, then Spalletti's going to have to call up another player, and that is in Locatelli's position. It'll be very interesting to see.
If something has happened between them that we don't know, but I don't think it is.
Surely.
I think he just doesn't believe in him. And if he doesn't believe in him, and he doesn't want to, then he shouldn't call him. You know my position on this. You can't. It's the national team. You have to make it work, and you can't call players who you don't believe in. And if that's the case, then that's what he has to do. And if he fails, he'll have to face the music. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But unless there has an event that has caused a problem between them, if it's just a scelta tecnica, then you got to trust the coach. Otherwise, what's the point of having a coach?
Yeah, it's very strange. It'd be nice to see an explanation for it, but
yes, it would be nice. It would be very, very nice with an injury, with a explanation as to what happened and what's going on and who and why, and talk to people.
Yeah.
Is it scelta tecnica? I'm sure he will be asked about it, and then he will have to say, if it's a scelta tecnica, then fine, okay, that's well within your right. People can discuss it, whatever.
Yeah,
but it's not. Yeah,
agreed. Belgium's squad, I'll run through these very quickly. So Castells, Sels, Van der Voort, the goalies. Defenders, Amin Al-Dakli, Castagna, De Bast, De Kuyper, Fays, Says, Smets, Arthur Tiat, stop laughing. Other defenders, the midfielders.
I love the question tone in your when you're pronouncing it.
I think I've done quite well so far.
Phase.
The Kettler, Engel.
You asking me or reading like
Lavia, Mangala, Onana, Bakayoko, Doku, Fofana, Lukaku,
Lukaku,
Openda, and
Openda,
Trossard.
Trossard.
So the players that are out are Tielemans, Bornau, and Connie De Winter are injured. Kevin De Bruyne asked not to be included, so he won't play again. He didn't play the last game. But the big returns are Romelu Lukaku, who didn't play against Italy in the first match in Italy, Al-Dakil, and Chelsea's Romeo Lavia is back, and Says earns his first call up.
Here's the thing: I would not put Bastoni against him. I would play Bastoni as the left centre back and Buongiorno in the middle, and Di Lorenzo to the right. Like at this point, given that you're not going to call up Acerbi, which I understand, he's too old. You want to move on. I get that, but you got Lukaku, and you can't put Bastoni on Lukaku. You just can't. You play Bastoni as a left centre back. You put Buongiorno in the middle. You put Di Lorenzo to the right. That's your back three. Because Buongiorno, I think, will, given that he trains with Lukaku every day, would know how better to handle him than, and also he's a much more physical player. He's better in the air.
I think that
he can
will. I
match him.
think that will happen, though, Nima. I think that will happen.
I hope so.
I think Buongiorno will play in the centre and Bastoni on the left. I think they've only been playing Bastoni in the centre because Calafiori's been playing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think now that Calafiori's out, I think that's what will happen. I mean,
but now that but even if Calafiori would have played, I would have rather played Calafiori in the middle than Bastoni against him. Do you know what I mean? Like I would have rather have someone more physical against because he's not very quick, Lukaku, anymore.
No.
So you need to anticipate, like Acerbi showed. He basically laid the blueprint for how you stop Romelu Lukaku. He's done it against. He did it against Haaland twice. He's done it against Osimhen. Like he's showing all the kids how to defend. He's teaching them. He's giving lectures on how to outmark good world class strikers. And I hope the kids are listening because
agreed.
He's
agreed. No, I'm agreed. I would play Buongiorno against Lukaku, and
that's a very interesting battle. I'm definitely gonna be looking at that.
Was it Costa Curta that called Buongiorno the heir to Chiellini at the weekend?
I think so. Yeah,
it's not the first time I've seen that. That said. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me look at the probable teams. We're recording this on Monday, so this could change. But I think we know roughly what the Italy team will be. So it's going to be a 3-5-1-1 or 3-5-2 formation. So Donnarumma in goal. The back three, I think, are pretty much guarantees. It'll be Di Lorenzo, Buongiorno, and Bastoni. The wing backs will be Cambiasso and Di Marco. And then the centre midfield, I think Barella and Tonali should be pretty much guarantees. And then Ricci, it really depends on his injury situation. Like nothing's come out yet about that. So if he's fit, Ricci would start. But if not, then someone else is going to have to come in for him. And that's going to be an interesting one. I mean, do you play, say, Fratesi and then move Barella back or Tonali back into a more of a deeper position? Or do you go for a more like Rovella, throw him straight in? Or
I would love to see Rovella. Yeah. I would love to see Rovella surrounded by Tonali and Barella. It would be very interesting.
Yeah. And then the front two, I mean, Retegui, I think, will certainly start. Then it's a question of whether does he go for two kind of out-and-out number nines, in which case he goes with form and plays Ken, who absolutely deserves to start based on he scored 6 goals in his last 3 games for Fiorentina. Definitely deserves to start. Or do you go with more of a second striker, in which case you go for a Raspadori or Maldini? So that's the question. That's the ballottaggio, basically. I think the big ballottaggio is who
I want to see Ken and Retegui together.
Yeah, possibly.
I really want to see them together. I think they can work well together, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it's a different dynamic, isn't it?
Of course,
a different dynamic, and we'll see. As for Belgium, we're looking at they play 4-2-3-1, so we're probably looking at Castells. Then the defense, we're looking at maybe Castagna and Thiat as the defender as the fullbacks, and then Faze and De Bast. But De Kuyper, who played really really well actually, could potentially. And Milan are looking at him, could potentially go to left back, and then Thiat goes into centre back. We'll see. And then the midfield, we're looking at probably Onana and Lavia maybe as the two centre mids if Tielemans is out. And then in terms of the wing, the trequartisti, we're probably looking at De Ketelaere and Doku for sure. will be two of the three behind Lukaku, and then the other one we're looking at maybe Trossard or Bakayoko or Luka Bakio, probably one of those. But Lukaku, I think you'd expect to start unless they play Openda, who's been doing quite well for Leipzig. So there is a possibility they could play Openda and Lukaku could maybe play the second game for Belgium. We'll see. So that's the probable 11s. Prediction time, Nima. What are you thinking?
I think Italy will win this game. I think Italy are better than Belgium. Honest to God, I think Belgium are in this kind of a generational rebuild. In with the old, out with the old, in with the new, and I think they're a decent squad, no doubt about that. But I just think Italy are better, and if Italy come up to normal level, I think they'll win this by 2 goals. Like 2-3 goals even. I really don't think. I think what happened last time around was just inviting them into the game. But I think they've learned from that, Italy, and I want to see a solid 90-minute performance. And I hope they will. I think they'll win this game by 2-3-1, 2-0, something like that.
I think they will win, maybe by the odd goal, providing they don't get a red card like they did in the
Well,
first
that's
game
what I mean.
when they were
Like,
2-0 up and Pellegrini then bodged it all up and ruined that game as a
hmm,
spectacle as well. But I'm confident. I'm confident that we can get the result, and if it's not, we don't get the win. I'm confident we can get the draw and qualify for the quarterfinal, which would be great. And that means we can then hopefully use that France game to do a bit of rotation and to try out a few more players, which would be nice, wouldn't it?
yeah, it would, and it would be. I would like it if Italy won that group. I think it would be good for their confidence if they win the group,
Yeah,
and if
for
they can
sure.
avoid losing
Yeah,
as
for
well.
sure, for sure.